My name's Tom Carpenter. I'm the CTO at CWNP. And this last week, I have had the opportunity to spend the week at the RSA conference in San Francisco, California at the Moscone Center. And throughout this week, obviously, then I've been thinking a lot about security as it relates to Wi-Fi. And of course, I'm already looking ahead to the fact that we'll be doing a JTA for CWSP toward the end of this year after our conference and updating CWSP next year. With all of that in my mind, I've been thinking about security. Additionally, I gave a talk at the RSA conference on Wi-Fi security details, so it's definitely in my thoughts. But before I get into some issues of security that I want to share with you, I want to start by saying this: don't fight Wi-Fi. Adopt it and secure it. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, in one report by the Economist Intelligence Unity, it was found that a mobile-first workplace had an increase in employee engagement. In fact, there was a 16% jump in productivity, an 18% jump in creativity, a 23% jump in satisfaction, and a 21% jump in loyalty. Now, if you do the math on this in a 40-hour work week, that comes up to 6.4 additional hours per week. Or, get this, 41 more days per year. Would you like to get 41 more days out of your employees? Now, I'm not saying you're going to get all 41 days back, but this is what the study shows. So by engaging and adopting Wi-Fi, not rejecting it, not fighting it, you enhance your productivity in your environment. This is the big key. But now for the stark reality. Most Wi-Fi security incidents, listen close, most Wi-Fi security incidents happen outside of your company, not inside of it on your enterprise wireless LAN. The most overlooked area of Wi-Fi security, in my opinion, is the provisioning of a method for secure Wi-Fi access outside of your organization, hotspots, home networks, and so forth. Let me give you some stats. 15% of companies reported in an iPass survey that they feared their remote workers had been hacked. According to Checkpoint Software, 100% of mobile devices used in business settings are exposed to malware and cybersecurity attacks in varying degrees. Of course, this includes phishing and other online attacks as well, not just Wi-Fi attacks. 81% of the iPass survey respondents said they've seen Wi-Fi related security incidents in the last 12 months. 62% of them said cafes and coffee shops were the most common venue where attacks occurred. 60% said they occurred at airports, and 52%, said they were in hotels. 30% in train stations, 26% exhibition centers, and 20% during flights. 94% said BYOD has increased mobile security risks. So how do they respond to this? 27% currently ban hotspots at all times. 40% currently ban hotspots sometimes. And 16% plan to ban the use of hotspots in the future. That's their response on a pretty large, significant level, 40% sometimes. 16% more going to add it. Now, here's the thing. Of those that require a VPN use at hotspots, 54% are not confident that their users use a VPN every time. Wow, this is pretty scary. So it seems that it's the hotspots. Coffee shops, cafes, hotels, airports, in-flight, conference centers, etc. These are the places where these incidents seem to occur. So what do we do about it? Well, I would recommend, first of all, again, don't fight Wi-Fi, adopt it. Realize that you can enhance productivity and gain more work hours out of your personnel by allowing them to work at these mobile hotspots, by allowing them to get things done that they couldn't ordinarily get done maybe just on their mobile phone with their LTE connection or something like that. So don't fight it, adopt it, but make sure there's good security. Here's what I recommend. First of all, require and enforce as much as possible the use of a VPN at this time. So you can make it so that if it's a corporate-owned device, you simply can't connect to a Wi-Fi network until you're connected to a VPN, and that means you have to install some special endpoint security software on there that's going to enforce that constraint on the user. For BYOD devices that might access corporate services and the network and so forth, you'll possibly have to take a different approach and simply require it but not be able to actually enforce it in some of those cases. Watch for WPA3. So when WPA3 is available, either through software updates or through hardware replacement. Utilize it as quickly as possible because it's going to help solve some of these problems with security at hotspots as well. Always use strong endpoint security software. So even right now, and even if they're not connected with a VPN, some of the peer-to-peer attacks and so forth can be prevented by having good endpoint security software that's aware of that. So do your research, select the appropriate vendor, and get good endpoint security software. And I really want to summarize all of this talk with this. I'm a bigger believer than ever after some of the things that I've heard at the RSA conference and some of the research over this last week I've done into security incidents related to Wi-Fi, and particularly at hotspots and so forth. I'm a big believer than ever in pen testing. It is absolutely an essential skill set for a security professional working in the wireless industry, particularly someone that wants to validate the security of a network. So understand pen testing, sometimes called ethical hacking as well, and know how to evaluate the security in your environment by attempting to breach that security. Now, make sure you always have permission to do this. Even if you're an employee, you need to have permission to take these actions. There should be a contract that says what can be done in the pen test and what cannot be done, what systems are potential targets, which ones are not, etc. All of that needs to be taken care of, but perform this kind of test because you may think you've secured that environment, but you may not have. So a couple of important things: security monitoring and penetration testing can take you a lot closer towards security. And one area of penetration testing could be testing the strength of the security solutions you have for your laptops and other mobile devices that might connect at hotspots. So you can just take the device there yourself with your configuration settings and see what kind of vulnerabilities you might be able to discover. And you may be able to hire an outside firm as well. And again, you don't have to take it to a hotspot. You can set up your own to test it, right? But the key is perform this kind of penetration testing. So that's my take for today on security related to Wi-Fi and the biggest area of vulnerability, and probably most often overlooked as far as doing something about it, all of those incidents that happen at the various hotspots out there. Well, that's all I have for today's Wireless LAN News Desk. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe below. And you can always follow me on Twitter. I'm at Carpenter Tom, and CWNP is at CWNP. So make sure that you follow us on Twitter. Make sure you check in at our website at cwnp.com to find out about upcoming webinars you can participate in. And if I don't see you before then, I look forward to seeing you at the Wi-Fi Trek Conference in San Diego this year. To learn more about that, go to conferences.cwnp.com. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you next week.